on the internet, aren't we?
It says you're live.
Good day, good evening, and how are you? I've got like a ringing in my ear.
Let's see if I
Right, lots to talk about today, and I seem to be mirrored. I think because when I go that way, I go that way on the screen.
I'm the opposite side to you.
Now, g'day Ben, how are you? Let us know if anyone. Are you going to just share out on the socials, Michelle?
I've done that, yeah. I'm ahead of you.
Have you done it just now, or you done it subsequently?
5 minutes ago.
Oh, you've got to do it on the time. You've got to do it on the time. I'm gonna have a quick beer, a cheeky beer, and tonight's beer of choice is a McEwen's Champion. But we're also going to be having something a little bit.
It's looking what date? 1856, apparently.
Oh, it's out of date.
Yeah, I know.
Give me another one.
Just a bit.
1856.
1856.
This is a really nice beer. Who's in? Ben's in. So
Audio good, video good. Almost finished making my cappuccino.
Beautiful.
Well, he's just going to make cappuccino here.
We're going to be making a, what would you call it? A cappuccino. We're going to be making a cappuccino very shortly, Ben. So I'm just having a little drink to say hello to you all and just toasting the new year, as you do.
That's cappuccino. Look, that's just got the coffee milk and the dark coffee.
Do you want a drink, Michelle?
No, thank you. No. I'll have my water.
This is really nice. It's quite chocolatey.
Yeah.
So you'll see from the setting that we're still where we were. We haven't moved, but we're very, very close to setting off.
Yeah, this close.
We're just waiting for a few little bits now. We've got some tiny bits. You'll see behind me, that's Steve's kitchen. It's what we affectionately, that pannier is our kitchen. I'll get that out. We'll have a look at that in a minute.
Hello, Byron, how are you?
Byron, how are you, mate? And
no, Stephen doesn't drink, Ben.
No, I don't drink. This is purely medicinal. Wow, that is I bought this yesterday and Michelle put it in the fridge.
I forgot.
I was not pleased.
It just put it on the side. I thought, I'll put that in the fridge, and then I didn't forget it was in ale.
Oh, it's got to be room temperature.
Yes.
Oh, it's like molasses. It's so chocolatey. I've been making. I've talked about this before, but you know, when we set off touring around Europe many years ago, Michelle and I would make jerky, particularly for the journey. So it's not looking that beautiful wrapped up in the tissue, but
Ben's got his tuna and crackers.
Tuna and crackers, Ben.
Creature of habit, Ben.
We have got beautiful beef jerky, freshly made. That is a day and a half old. I actually used top side, which isn't the normal cut that I've used, but it's quite delicious. And look, it's already like shoe leather.
Boot leather.
And let me
How long did it take to dry out, then?
It took. So first of all, this is raw beef, no cooking at all. I've taken the raw beef. I've soaked it in my mixture, which you can see on, if you look at Steve's Kitchen on the website, there's a list of, it's basically a soy sauce for the salt and flavor, some sweetness, some sugar, a few spices, and you soak that overnight in and just leave it in the fridge. The meat then absorbs all those flavors, and you can really mess around with the flavors. It's amazing. Then you just take that out and you put a fan onto it, or you can really, in this time of year, you can just hang it. I tend to like to put cracked pepper and coriander seed and maybe a little bit of chili flakes on it as well. And then you just hang it. You can see there's a little hole there. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but there's a little hole in the meat. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. And that is just hung to dry for 24, 36 hours. Yeah. And it'll start to become a good, to tell it's ready, it feels a little bit like a soft, like a green branch. So if you imagine when you break a green branch, you get this, it starts to split, and there's should be like a whiteness in there. But this stuff, it's been ready now for a day and a bit, and I can't stop eating it.
Ben said, where did you get the beef?
from a butcher.
Now he can't talk.
I shouldn't have done
No. Hello, Bruce Wayne.
that. Good day, BW.
Just chiming in to say hello, getting ready for church now. Take care. You have a good time.
Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, and beef jerky looks good. It's very good, but I'll wait till he's finished his bit before I eat my bit. But yeah, you got it from the butcher's, the beef, didn't you? This one.
It's very chewy in a good way. There's a sweetness to it, and it's delicious. It just good beef jerky. You should be able to just chew and chew almost like chewing gum, and it just releases a strong, almost a bovrily sweetness that comes from it. And yeah, I did make up. I got 2 lots, Ben. Who asked? Was it Ben?
Ben, yeah.
I got 2 lots. I got one from a good butcher that I know. And it was quite expensive, and I got a cheaper cut from a supermarket just to make a comparison. There's not a lot of difference. I mean, there's some difference. Definitely the butcher's one didn't reduce in size so much, so there was less water in it, so technically price per kilo it was a little bit better.
Was it better prepared? So didn't you have to take more sort of prepared it?
Yeah, I had to trim more fat off of the supermarket one because there was a lot of you don't want to really cure the fat, that tends to go rancid. So I've got from 2.5, nearly 3 kilos. What is that? 7 pounds of beef. I've probably got about a quarter of it left in 2 days. I have been, not just me, we've both been nibbling on it. And the idea was that was meant to be going with us on the start of the ride, but that'll be finished. So I might make another little batch to take with us. So good. It's so good. I haven't had good jerky like that for a long time. And when you buy jerky in the shops, I mean, if you look at this, it's lovely and thick. It's almost like a biltong. When you buy a piece of jerky much thinner than that in the shops here in the UK and in Australia for that matter, you end up, you'll pay sort of £5 and you'll end up with 2 strips, basically, like about 100 grams, maybe about a few ounces. Whereas for probably just shy of maybe £22-23 in English money, I end up with 2.5 kilos, and then there's reduction by things. So maybe about 1.8 kilos of dried jerky, which would be worth 150 pounds. So that's really good.
Hello, Petri. How are you?
Hey, Petri.
And just to answer your question, my hair's actually naturally curly when it's short. When it's longer, it doesn't go.
Oh yeah,
So no, I haven't had it curled. It's natural curl.
She's Michelle. She doesn't straighten her hair at all. But
I don't do anything.
if she doesn't do anything else, she's had a shower, it just goes really frizzy. But when she gets it longer, a bit like when it's as long as mine, that hat's getting on my nerves because it looks like a head. It looks like I've got a different shape.
Just move it. Just move it. Yeah, so when it gets longer, I've got quite thick hair, so that it pulls it down, so it pulls the curls out. So yeah, I just had it chopped off, ready for my cycle ride.
So yeah, you saw the honey. Hopefully you saw the video of the honey producer not far from here, New Forest Honey. I haven't even cracked that one open yet because we're working out what we can cook with this on the road. We're coming up with some quite good ideas.
Yeah.
So anyone wants to share any ideas, think about what could you make that really sort of highlighted the taste of the honey, and all you're going to have, I'll show you in a minute what you're going to have. Just a stove top and some pans. So I'm thinking about that.
So Ben said, I was amazed how expensive the beef jerky was in Australia. It's very expensive here as well. We don't make it locally. It's all imported. Absurd.
And it's so easy to make. I mean, I did another little experiment. I'll explain because
Chris, how are you?
G'day, Chris. In my beef jerky video, I got a lot of flack for not cooking the jerky, which is to me is just a madness. I mean, the idea that you would cook beef as a jerky, and what people generally mean is they're not used to the idea that raw meat And jerky is always been historically, it's raw meat. No, you don't cook jerky. But people were saying, well, you can't eat raw meat. Well, you can, and cured meat is very, very safe to eat, and it's most delicious. Actually, this fouette, this sausage, is raw pork.
Yeah.
So that is completely uncooked. Purely, there's no cooking involved in there. What they do sometimes do now, and actually what they do with commercially made jerky, is they pasteurize it, or and that sounds nice, doesn't it? That sounds almost like a little bit too floral. They cook it.
Yeah.
So I took a little bit of this. I took about 5 or 6 strips, and I pasteurized it in a warm oven. It's not a very high temperature, just around about the 100 degrees Celsius, maybe 180 Fahrenheit, somewhere around there. And I pasteurized it just for 10 minutes to see what difference. I wanted to see the difference that made to the beef. And it was phenomenally different. I mean, very different. One tasted like jerky, and the pasteurized stuff tasted like cooked beef. It tasted like very nice. It tastes like the end cuts of the beef that you get on a roast joint, or maybe the caramelized edge of a good steak. But its structure had changed. Its texture had changed. It wasn't jerky. It was really delicious, but it wasn't jerky. So
Chris says people say you can't eat raw meat, and they go to eat raw fish at a Japanese restaurant.
You can eat raw meat.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful, and you have to be careful with how meats are produced. The reason people have got turned away from eating undercooked meats and things is firstly squeamishness that comes from being indoctrinated by our parents about, what you can and cannot eat, don't touch fat, don't, all those sort of things. But the other thing is that the way a lot of supermarkets produce their meat now is so unpleasant that the meat often gets cross-contaminated in a way it never used to through the old production of meat. And I don't want to get into too much details, but it's the things that cause the bacteria in meat that causes problem is really the fact that, okay, very briefly, it's got too much feces in the production. They don't look after firstly, they don't look after the process, and this is the same reason why eggs can't be eaten, raw anymore. In many countries, we can eat raw eggs here in the UK, and mostly in Australia, raw eggs are good. But it's mainly because of the production, the way they handle them. They're not clean. They're not looking after them to the same way they would have done in small production. But anyway, that's another thing. Steve's kitchen. Here we are. So this is quite heavy, Michelle.
Yeah.
And it's weighty.
It's the yellow bag. That means it's on my bike.
It's the small bag. This is our kitchen, and I want to go through this because this is what we'll have 2 panniers this size, and it looks bigger than it is. It'll roll down to.
It's not that bad. Just
roll down to that size, so it's quite small. This is the kitchen. We have another one on my bike, which is the larder, which will have all the food products in. So that one will fluctuate up and down because it will have, we might change out after a time, but
and I'm used to him going shopping, and he comes out the shops with so much stuff, so I'm glad he's carrying it.
All right. So some recent acquisitions were these titanium tongs. Now these are a tong that's sort of split apart, and we quite like them. You pop the tops like this. Let me just
get it around the right way.
Get it around the right way. And they become a little pair of tongs, also with a little fish slice and a little serving spoon. So we're kind of keen, we think they're going to be quite nice, and they're titanium, so they're super light. So we're happy with those. But just in case we didn't have enough tongs, we got these little, also titanium. We wanted a set of tongs that had sort of turned down at the end, because we need sometimes to get into the gas fire or into the open fire and grab things, and I needed to not be going directly into, but slightly off to the side. So these are another very lightweight set of titanium tongs. A tea towel. Now, don't remember this, because this is, I don't know if you remember, was it university chat? No, what was it? What was it? Generation game.
Generation game.
We'll be asking you at the end of this.
The conveyor belt. What's on the conveyor?
Remember what you're seeing, because at the end, you got a cuddly toy. There's some tissues, and then basically, as a little brush, we have a tiny little brush that we're going to use for just you know, dusting out bits and pieces. Whether we'll keep this,
well, we probably will. Probably actually won't keep it in the kitchen because I need a little brush just to sweep out the tent.
Yeah.
So just to get all the bits out, and it's not going to probably end up in the kitchen.
And it's pure bristle, and it had a handle, but now it's just got. I've cut the handle to lessen its weight, so it's just on a little tag. And that these sort of things prove to be really useful. I've got a feeling we're going to actually.
Got to keep a tidy house, you see. You've got to sweep out the tent.
I've got an idea, and I haven't said this to you yet, Michelle, but to cut it down about an inch off, just to make it a little short. It's just a thought.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah. The only problem is when
it's room at the moment.
If you've ever cut off bristles before, they tend to be. It's like cutting a mohawk sort of thing. They tend to. You'll end up with
it won't be
that shape.
Yeah.
You know. I can't see.
Yes, Ben. Everyone does need a brush for long distance cycling. You obviously haven't done enough.
Long distance cycling. The first thing, and if you look at what's in my bag on all long distance cycling things, the first thing most people will say is either a broom, or a dustpan and brush. It's so important. Yeah. So important.
Yeah. So we've got as one of those. There's the multi ones. Yeah.
Luxury items. We've got a water purifier. You've probably seen this before. So this is we can take spring water. There's another little attachment that goes on that, so we can purify spring water. There's been everywhere around the world with us, our little roll of cutlery. So we've got things in here that are a bit bulky, to be honest, like a wooden spoon and some more heavier knife and forks. But that's all our cutlery in that little roll there. And then the main thing is just this. This is the kitchen. Not to check, because I can just check. There's a couple of gas bottles in there.
Yeah. We've got a decent supply of gas bottles at the moment. Which bench?
We've got too many. So we've got these. We've got a combination of these little.
Everything but the kitchen sink, Ben. That's right.
LPG gas bottles, and so that's the kitchen. There's 2 gas bottles, so there's another one in there. So you might say, well, what's in the kitchen bag?
Do we?
No, I'm just asking them. They might say that.
They might, yes.
I was pausing for effect.
Perfect. You're waiting for someone to shout out from the audience. Put your hand up.
So it's a little waterproof Osprey.
It says, how long do you think the gas bottle will last?
We will let you know, Chris, when the first. We'll let you know when the first one runs out.
It lasted quite well when we did the joggle, but we didn't do a lot of cooking. It was more boiling water and things.
So this little packet here. Just check. Is that that's the stove, isn't it?
Yeah. Because it's longer, the other one.
Okay. So that's a little titanium stove. We've got a couple of slightly heavier plates than we would have liked. So there's 2 tin plates in here. I'll show them to you. They're just a simple round plate, but we thought they might be quite nice for photographing when we've done some really amazing meals.
JP is saying hello from Colombo, Sri Lanka.
We have our little chopping board that we've had for a few years now. I think this is just a little nylon chopping board. We did buy a little wooden chopping board, which looked really pretty, but it was like carrying around a plank of wood. So we've actually got rid of that.
Yeah, we're back to our super light one.
Got trusty old chopping board.
We thought we would be sort of see our photos, wasn't it? It was going to have.
Yeah, we thought. So no, we go with our little nylon one. So this is the main kitchen here. I think some of you may have seen it before. It's had some modifications. It's had some modifications.
Steve kitchen modifications.
Yeah. So this is a stainless steel pot and kettle. The reason why we're going with the pot and kettle, I think we've discussed this maybe once before, but we found that when you cooked a soup or a stew in the pans, getting that flavor out when you were hiking or walking or cycling, as we're doing this time, it was just everything. Every cup of coffee you had from that point onwards tasted like stew.
Yeah, onions.
But we have, whatever you cooked in there. Now we have this we wanted to be able to fry stuff. So I wanted a nice stainless steel, reasonably decent thick pan. So this is a bit of a luxury. It is quite heavy, but what I've done is I've taken the handle off of this. So it had its own handle, but it didn't fold away very well.
got in the way.
It got in the way of everything. So what we did is we've got one of these little, I don't know if you've seen them before. I don't know if you remember these. This is just like it'll grab the size of any pot and turn it into a frying pan, and it'll do it, you know,
We were
really
redesigning
securely.
the frying pan, weren't you, with the handle that was on there. We were doing all sorts.
We were doing so much. You can see, I mean, unfortunately, it does have this riveted on piece here, but I think this is a much better solution because this comes off ever so easy. It's super lightweight aluminum. It gives me this beautiful saucepan, which is a little heavy, but this is going to feature a lot. We're going to be doing fried breakfasts.
We're going to cook.
We're going to be cooking all sorts of stuff. Maybe some
aluminum. Yes,
aluminum. We're going to be doing some sweet treats. I've been working on a stovetop like baked cookie, just in case we want, or more like what are the bars that you have? Trail bars, or
oh yeah.
I've been working on some trail bars.
Chris says you could do flatbreads in that.
Yeah, I can do.
He's got his good little bread. He's been practicing.
I've been making bread. I've been making little bread rolls, Chris, that are great if we decide to make a soup. So I've got these amazing little bread rolls that I've been making, baked in a pan. I'm working on. Okay, it's a little bit like a flapjack, to be honest, but it's those sort of trail bars, all homemade, all made. We'll be able to knock them up. Maybe I'll knock up a big batch the size of the whole pan, and then they'll last us all probably about an hour or two. They should last us a few days.
Ben said it would be good to see some bread recipes on the road. No
Yes.
pressure. Well, there will be some cooking. He's definitely cooking.
This is just protecting the pan. It wasn't coming with us, but it popped up. So now look at this. This, and we're going to actually do. Okay, let me tell you what I'm going to make in a minute. I know I've got a beer here, but Michelle and I have been practicing making cowboy coffee. If you haven't had cowboy coffee before, you're going to learn about it in a moment, and maybe even give us some advice on it, because we're not going to pretend to be anything but newbies to cowboy coffee.
Ben says down this cappuccino is good. Yeah, it won't be as good as our cowboy coffee, brand new.
Cowboccinos coming up.
Yeah.
Cowboccinos. Little bag, just a little lightweight bag, just to protect the. I mean, eventually we won't be precious about this stuff, but at the moment it's pretty. So I love this little catch here. It's just a little piece of like piano wire, and pops open, and that is so the frying pan had something similar to this on, but it just got in the way. I don't mind it on this one because it packs. So we've got a proper little saucepan with a lid, and inside here we've got a proper little kettle.
It says, "Oh, cowpuccino."
Cowpuccino, cowboycino. Cheeky monkey. So we've got this can be used to do just water, and then we can know it's not contaminated with flavors and things. We think it's a good idea. It might not go the whole journey with us.
Well, it will, because if you're cooking something in here, you see, and then you want some water, you can then just take this off.
Oh, what? Put this one on the other stove.
No, well, you could.
We have got two.
We have got two stoves, double burner.
We have got a double burner. So in here we've got a little lighter to light the stove. We've got also cuddly toy, holiday for two.
Yeah, are you watching? We'll be asking you what went on the conveyor belt.
This little bag here.
There's something
Can
else
you
in
noise
there.
down? This is okay. Let's move this out of the way. One thing at a time. This is a little adapter, because most of these LPG bottles that you buy around Europe and around the world, they have like a screw thread on them, but this one doesn't. But this is the most commonly available one in the UK. You can buy these in supermarkets. So what we've got is a little adapter here, which we will be able to pop on here. And so I think I spoke about this before. It's made by a company called Fire Maple. It looks cheap and plastic, but it's actually really good quality. So that pops on there. That now becomes compatible with our oven, with our kitchen.
Ben said, I think it's a good idea to take the kettle and eat your coffees in the morning. At least that's what Michelle demanded during the chair unboxing.
She does. She's very pushy. Look at this. Compare this to our last stove in the previous the big walk. So this is a little titanium stove. It's a beautiful little thing. And there's a few technicalities I could explain to you about what this nozzle does. I could explain to you what this cable does here, but I'm not going to.
It's a stove.
It's a stove.
It makes things hot.
If you want to know all that stuff, go to a channel that cares a damn. So what we would do.
So Ben's saying, just wondering, anything not titanium?
Everything's
It's
titanium.
light, Ben. I need it light.
Everything. If it isn't titanium, like this beautiful little stainless steel, I'm thinking of changing this thing out for titanium. It's a bit too heavy. I get it made out of balsa wood and titanium. So
If it's not titanium, it's aluminum.
Aluminum. So there's one reason why I wanted a lot of titanium. Obviously, it's lighter. It doesn't rust. It's pretty robust. There's a few. You'll see a few other titanium things. Yeah. So. Yeah, titanium. I'm bulletproof. I am titanium. No.
Now, this is the thing.
Is that titanium?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were singing.
No.
I said we learned a lot of things from
away,
our walk, didn't we? From what we shouldn't have taken.
Yeah.
And what we should have taken.
So let's
make. And we had a bit more time to organise it a little bit.
If I'll do it in this pan.
And Chris says, is the other stove a stick burner?
Yes, it is, Chris. And I think Chris mentioned it before, didn't he?
He did.
So where is the other stove?
There. Oh, the other one is.
Oh no, there's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the other bits must be in the bag.
Chris, you'll be very pleased to know, and Ben will be beside himself with happiness. It's titanium. This is a little titanium wood stove, and this folds down. We've got a really nice, I think it's called Triang. Where's that?
It's in the bag.
It's still in the bag, is it?
In the bag or
Oh,
in the other bag?
No, I didn't pull it out.
Is that
We've got a
titanium, isn't it?
little, I think that's titanium. No, we sent the titanium one back.
Oh, we did, because yes, it had.
And we bought the old school brass one.
We did.
And I did a really interesting video. I'll probably never put it up on YouTube, but I timed the cooking of the titanium stove.
He was out there.
I was out there with stopwatches and testing it. And just everything about this, the Triang stove was better.
So Chris says, I have one of those. They're actually really good and surprisingly useful if you run out of gas, as long as there's no wind, lol. We've got that covered.
Got that covered, Chris. You know what we've got. And it's not titanium.
No.
You'll be pleased to know. We've got a windshield. Windshield wiper. We've also got these titanium mugs. These lovely little titanium mugs. We've changed from the tin mugs over to these because we're big fans of titanium, aren't we?
They're wood.
Hey? Are these not titanium?
No. Ben says, okay, make your cappuccino then.
Cappuccino. Now, we've all heard of cowboy coffee. We've kind of, it's obviously clearly it's an American style, frontiers, the Wild West cowboy coffee. And by all intents and purposes, it sounds awful, because you're boiling water with coffee grind in it. But it's not as bad. I'm
just agreeing with Ben. They are very good, though. They're very pretty.
They're very beautiful, yeah.
We actually like
them. That's my measuring cup.
I know, but while you're talking, me and Ben are going to have a conversation about the wooden cups.
They're nice. You can see they've already got a lovely tanning. We've been drinking our teas and coffees out of this for the last week since some of you might remember we had tin mugs. We decided not to go with them. They were a little bit noisy, a little bit heavy, hard to pack away. So we've gone with these very pretty Scandinavian,
photogenic
stroke
cups.
Japanese,
Yeah.
Scandinavian. Beautiful little wooden cups.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pop a little bit of hot water. I'm not going to waste. I've already worked out that a tablespoon of alcohol will boil the water.
Oh yes, he's using gas today.
You're not
And
impressed. You're not impressed, are you, Michelle?
No.
You should have been very impressed
No.
by that.
Yeah. And he's not putting
And
hot
a
water
splash.
in, he's just putting water in.
Cold water, straight in there. I need a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, Michelle, just grab me straight from the cold water, just maybe a cup measure, but just a few tablespoons of.
Shall I put it in my cup?
No, because I might not use it all. You can, yeah. Just grab me a bit.
I can drink it. You can use my water. Mine's ice
So
water.
that's your cup anyway. We can tell whose cup's whose. Can you work out?
We're not.
Can you work out?
You can use my water because it's ice cold water.
Oh yeah,
I've got ice in my water.
Okay.
Is that mine? You use mine to do the measuring.
Is yours all wet now?
Mine's all wet.
That doesn't go up there. That's the
Oh, sorry, that's the
stove. You want to end up burning your cup.
I know. If you run out of fuel.
So I'm just going to pop.
Chris said, "Are you bringing those flasks for water transport?"
Oh! Do you see that? That's all the hairs off the back of your hand gone. What I will
read your question again, Chris, because I got halfway through it and nearly burned the house down. All right, yeah.
So I'm going to put it on a reasonably. I like the fact that we can adjust this stove. Really. Now, I'll tell you another thing I like.
Health and safety lessons, folks. That's Ben.
Have we got a fire extinguisher? No.
No.
We haven't.
No.
Not to worry. I'm all in hand. I'm a professional. Yeah. I know what I'm doing.
It says health and safety lessons from Steve's kitchen.
Absolutely.
And Chris was asking, are we taking the flask for water transport besides the filter? Yes.
We are. Yeah. We'll be taking these. They're to me. We like them.
Yeah.
But they're a bit small.
Yeah.
So the way you make cowboy coffee, yeehaw!
You put your cowboy hat on. I knew he's going to do that.
The way you make cowboy coffee.
Shall I put mine on?
If you want. It's not cowgirl coffee though.
No,
don't steal the show.
Because the cowboy's got to make it.
Okay. Cowboy coffee, is that noise going to be too bad, guys? Because I can go a little lower. If I did this on the alcohol stove, it's silent. It's beautiful. It's a more organic way of cooking. So the way they make cowboy coffee is you boil up water, you put coffee grounds. Unfortunately, I've only got espresso, Lavazza espresso. It's a little bit fine. You put coffee grounds into the water and you just boil it. Now, there are two or three, and our American friends, if they're in, why I should defer to Americans is if they know what cowboy coffee is. If you're all sort of living in wagons over there, sort of brewing coffee, when you're not just turning on your espresso machines as the rest of the world are. But any of my quaint American friends that are still living in the I'm going to say the outback, what do they call it in Austin?
Wild West.
The Wild West.
Ben says the sound is okay.
Yeah. Anyone who's knows a bit about cowboy coffee can correct me, but I have watched a guy, lovely American guy, real sort of like I want to say Alabama real southern drawl of an accent. He's making cowboy coffee and he reckons you put your coffee in and let it boil for 3 or 4 minutes, and the longer you boil it, the more flavor it gets. Now, other people have told me you bring it up to a boil, you add your coffee, you stir it through, and you just let it sit for a few minutes. I'm going to go with Buffalo Bill's method and just put so it's already boiling in that short time. So where was my teaspoon?
You said you had one.
I did say. Here it is.
We went through everything and we got it all. Yeah.
So the other nice thing, if I was making a drip coffee or cappuccino, I need a fair bit of coffee, but for cowboy coffee, you don't need quite so much. So I'm going to go with 1.
This was all because we were working out how we were going to make coffee, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay. We better address that, haven't we, Michelle? We better address the littered pathway behind us of coffee making options.
Coffee paraphernalia.
Don't you love Amazon? We've ordered every single coffee making device and sent them all back.
Yeah.
Because they all were just too big. I've got my lovely Vietnamese coffee maker, and it makes a damn good coffee. I should say I do like. I do like a good espresso shot. That would be my preferred coffee all the time. But I've been getting used to these drip coffees, and we've been buying. We've had the little paper drip coffees, coffee bags, different types of steeping devices, French presses. We obviously have the AeroPress, but all of them end up just feeling like another bulky device. And I said to Michelle, let's try this cowboy coffee. And
because we need two.
And we want two coffees.
Yeah, you know,
so
I'm not going to wait while he has his coffee.
No, so it's just a complete bath. I want to show people. So you'll see now in there that it's just starting to simmer away, and all the coffee grounds are on the top. But there's science involved here. Trust the science. There's science. Trust that science. Come along and spoil everything. There's science going on in here. We are going to let that. I'm not going to let it go for too long.
The science. That's right. There. It's all about the science. We love science.
Comes along here, sticking its nose in. It's really boiling. It's really boiling. So I've got quite a froth going on top here now.
Capital T, capital S, absolutely. The science. That's boiling away. Look at that.
So it's bubbling away. They reckon 4 minutes. I'm actually just going to let it go for how long will you say? Minute and a half, 2?
We don't do that.
Let's turn the gas off. Imagine we're sat in a tent in not too many days from this point.
It's off. Got to go through the tube.
The coffee's boiled. It's smelling great. It's a lovely Lavazza coffee, Italian coffee. You can't beat it. So the coffee's great. Now we've got this sludge. Oh, sorry. Yes.
That wasn't what I was doing.
It's hot in these hats, isn't it?
It is hot in these hats.
They're not coming with us.
No.
Not on the cycle, unfortunately. We love these hats, but they're just impractical for doing ridiculous adventures. So now all the coffee grounds are on the top. And apparently, and it does work, I say apparently, it does work because we've tested it. What you wait for that just to cool a little bit, and you can give it a little swirl around if you like, just to bring some of the coffee grounds down. That I just added that. That's not actually something I think you do.
It's not quite on that stove.
Yes, it is. Look, there's a centimetre here, and about
minus centimetres or 2 on this side.
It's going nowhere. It's going nowhere. So you take a little bit of cold water and you pour about quarter of a cup or so in a couple of cups like this, and you think that might cool the coffee down. It really doesn't. But what happens is all the grounds go to the bottom. The cold, I think what happens, the science, trust me, I'm going to work out the exact science behind it all, but I imagine the cold water comes to the top immediately. No, the hot water comes to the top. The cold water goes to the bottom and drags the coffee grounds down with it. And consequently, when we go to pour this, there shouldn't be too many coffee grounds in the coffee, and you should have a nice rich, almost, this is going to taste a little bit like a French press, if I was to explain to you. So any experts out there on
I don't know.
Coffee making?
Oh.
So take that coffee now, and straight away, while it's hot, pour it through.
You can't see because he's got to concentrate.
It's not that. I'm concentrating that.
And then I just wondered, now they can see, look, now all they can see was the bottom of the pot.
I'm not concentrated. I'm not. Michelle credits me too much with the thought process. No, I'll do it now and hope that it works later. Right. Be careful. Now, another thing with titanium, it cools down a lot quicker than many other metals. So that already not too hot. Not too hot. You saying that's good, Michelle?
It's very good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it, because I tested it earlier, I found it a bit weak. Is that a bit stronger?
Yes. You make it a bit stronger.
Yeah, I did.
I'm not learning how to make cowboy coffee.
No. Now, I think I might have done that wrong. I probably should have taken that off
That's what we did last
And
time.
then-
I tried to pack it away with that on.
Yeah,
That didn't work.
yeah, it wouldn't go in the. It wouldn't go in the. She's saying, "Why won't it go in the kettle?"
I said,
I said,
no, I
"'Cause
don't
you've
know how
got
to
that
fold
on."
this.
We're learning. We'll become really good at this eventually, won't we?
Oh, we will.
By the time we get to the end, we'll be all knowledgeable,
Yeah.
telling people how to
How
do
to
it.
do it.
So I'm having a little bit of milk because I just still prefer a bit of milk in mine. So mine is a cappuccino. And what I was, as Ben was saying earlier on, I thought, I wonder if I could foam that up.
Yeah.
Maybe just,
Well, then you need a French press.
yes,
A
people
little
won't get
French
that
press.
reference.
A little French press. You just.
That's not a good. That's not a good angle, that, Michelle. It's not,
I'm
people
drinking
might think
black.
people might think that you're saying something to them that you're not meant to be. Yeah, if you get a French press and push it up and down with hot milk in it, it makes this amazing foam.
It does. It's very good. It's actually better. So that little bit you're just still tweaking it, aren't you?
Yeah, it's really good. That tastes like French press coffee or even stovetop coffee.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to try and do no boil
Okay.
to see if it ends up, because
So you put it in and then turn it off.
get it up to the boil, let it cool slightly, put the coffee in.
Right.
Because coffee doesn't always react well to temperatures above 100 degrees.
Mm.
It can sometimes bring out some of the bitter notes and the sour
But
flavours.
that guy said, that cowboy guy.
He did, but
He
you
said
know,
the longer
I only trust 1/4 of what he said.
The longer you boil it.
No, he said
It takes out all of the bitterness.
He said, boy wit. Are you? What did he say? Had a real strong accent. But he said the longer you boil it, the more it takes out the bitterness. Now that goes against what I understand about coffee and what coffee generally, unlike tea, you want to be brewing coffee below boiling temperatures.
Yeah, they always say don't put hot boiling water on.
And I think it could be that we need to let it drop. I've seen another good reference where they say let it drop in temperature. Add the coffee, mix it through, then add your cold water. That's lovely and hot, by the way. That's
Yeah. I mean, I drink it
water.
black, and it's super hot, still too hot. So Ben's buffering. YouTube keeps buffering the stream.
Ah, well, it shouldn't do, Ben. We've got pretty good internet here.
I think he's blaming the engineers at Google.
Yeah. So we are going to hit the road very shortly.
Yeah.
And that's going to be our coffee option. Just a bag of coffee and use the pots that we have. We're not going to use filters. We're not going to use, I'm not going to take my Vietnamese coffee press. I'm not taking the AeroPress because it's just bulky.
Yeah.
And we're not so worried about our volume on the bikes, but we are worried that we don't end up carrying too much nonsense that we don't need. So that's the kitchen. There's nothing else. There is a little, we talked about the little, Chris is quite interested.
Yeah, but I think it's in the green bag, isn't it?
No, it's in here.
No, is it in there?
So this is the our little alcohol burner, and that goes with the titanium stand that we've got. So this is a tiny little, I want to say triangle. Yeah, the name could be wrong, but this is an amazing little alcohol stove. So we've got a combination. When we run out of alcohol, we can use butane or propane gas. And when we've run out of either one of those, we can actually use just little twigs and sticks and cook. Now, we're not going to run out of, we'll probably be 6 months before we run out of gas. We did something silly. All right. Well, it wasn't silly, but it's cheaper to buy several canisters of gas than it is to buy 1 or 2 canisters of gas. So we bought several canisters of gas on the premise that we would use some of them before we set off, and we haven't used any of them. So we're going to have to try and carry several canisters of gas with us. But we'll try and use those up as quickly as possible. We shouldn't really have any more than 2 canisters of gas. And then we've got, we'll have alcohol stoves, and we'll be experimenting with wood burning as well.
You've got a cool little bottle to keep the alcohol.
Yeah,
For the
nice little secure.
Yeah.
That's Trang as well, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. Don't know.
Do you want to grab it?
I can grab it.
Now you've mentioned it, you've got to show it.
I know, it's probably strapped on, isn't it?
We've got all our bottles strapped to the bike at the moment, and
We've got all our bottles strapped to the bike, apart from the ones that are on Stephen's that's not strapped on.
There we go. That's what I like to see. Safety in numbers. Yeah.
They're easy to get on. I just would have had to undo the
So this is a little bottle, and I believe it's the same company. Yes, it is. So Trangia. So this is a Trangia fuel bottle. This is for, you can use I think methylated spirits and denatured alcohol, and probably whiskey and vodka. And it won't leak liquid until you unscrew this cunning little red top, and then it will tip out. It's a very good design. I like it. It's just a heavy plastic. It's not actually. It looks like a fire extinguisher. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite of a fire extinguisher.
Not titanium.
No, that little bit around there is titanium.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
right.
titanium. That is. I ordered the titanium model.
The titanium model, yes.
I thought it would make a huge difference to the weight. There's like half a kilo of fuel, and we knocked off a feathers. What are the fronds of a feather? Probably fronds.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, whispers. No, don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, knock some of that off. So, we got any questions there, Michelle? Looks like Ben's hogging the chat there to me, from where I can see.
Yeah, Chris.
But carry on, Ben. Ask away. I can see Ben because his name is in blue. Who else is in? Any people hiding in the background want to say hello?
There's a few there, but you're not hitting that thumbs up.
So
Ben says, yes, when are you starting your cycle?
Within the next live stream may even be from the road, Ben.
Very soon, but yeah. Did you just do that?
I didn't know.
Okay, within 7 days.
There's a few things we're waiting for.
Possibly.
There's a few tiny things that we're just waiting to arrive, and we're virtually there. But the problem is these things have been on order for a while, and we don't want to leave without them. Once we set off, we've cast a drift. There's no turning back.
No. Rucksack fireworks.
Rucksack fireworks. So yeah, we're very close. We could leave now, but we haven't. We've got a few things that we've got to get. Is there anything we're particularly not sure about
that we've got? No.
I tell you, I will say I'm quite excited. We'll talk about this maybe on the journey, about the new way in which we're going to be filming the series. So we've invested quite heavily in making sure this is going to be filmed in a very different way than the past episodes. Probably won't. We may.
I think it will be good. Yes, it's very fancy, Petri. It's Stephen's computer. Go on, do it again. Do it again.
You but one thumb. No, but one thumb. See if it does that.
Oh.
No. What about if you put the other thumb up? No, it doesn't recognise.
No, it doesn't recognise
alternate thumbs.
No, they're saying our thumbs are not the same. Go on, you put two up. Hey, see? It's clever, isn't that?
I'm not happy about that now, Michelle. Can we give me your thumb here? Can you put this thumb?
Yeah.
Put it there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now.
Wow.
It's not clever. It's stupid. That looks, doesn't that look like?
Hey, Petri said that happened the same time that she hit the thumbs up.
And maybe it was you,
Maybe
Petri.
it was you and not really us. We just think it is.
So what else have we got to share, Michelle? Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Except for we're
going round and round and round in circles, making the piles of things that have got to go into or onto the bike smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, we're getting rid of little bits. We're moving down. This shirt that I'm wearing now, Michelle and I both got merino shirts. They're made from a merino wool. It's a little bit warm today, actually, but even though they are wool, they'll they'll not smell so much. So this shirt I've been wearing for 3 or 4 days, just testing it out, and it's doing exactly what we expected it to do. It's remarkable how merino doesn't smell. But basically, body odor. I say it doesn't smell. There's probably people. I do see people running across the street.
Petrie says I'm magic.
But body odor is
Did the thumbs up.
body odor is basically a bacteria that grows in sweat.
It doesn't like it. They're listening to you.
Talking sense here.
Go on then.
I've got my slightly demented wife in the background
who keeps going the wrong way, and you think, yeah. I'll be quiet.
No, I'm not saying it now. Go and put your merino. Anyway,
no.
What I'm trying to say is I don't stink. At least I think I don't.
No, you were explaining about why merino works.
Yeah, merino wool, it doesn't allow the bacteria to grow that causes body odor smells. So it's kind of cool. You can wear, I remember seeing this video of a guy making what he called a Frankenstein shirt. So he basically stitched up a merino shirt with a synthetic shirt, and he'd stitched it in the middle. This is disconcerting having the camera flipped. So and he wore it for I think a couple of weeks, and then he took the shirt and he asked his friends and his girlfriend to sort of smell the shirt, and on one side, on the synthetic side, it was horrible. It was completely rank, and on the merino side, there was no smell at all. So it was an interesting experiment, and Michelle and I have kind of found this to be the case, haven't we?
Yeah.
That merino you can wear, because we haven't managed to find a way of sticking a washing machine on the back of the bike. We're going to be wearing our clothes more often than not. So, any questions before we head off?
Ben said, "Are you still going to be doing some cooking in the New Forest and videoing it?"
Possibly, Ben, but since I said that, the weather went really bad. We sort of had like another week or 10 days of just rain and
we've been busy,
drizzle,
haven't we?
we've been busy.
Yeah.
So I think so. Maybe if it is going to happen, because what you're seeing at the moment has been filmed. I mean, that honey video was done the day before I went. So if it was 2 days ago, the honey I bought, I filmed it. If the video went up 2 days ago, I went to the honey place 3 days ago. So if we're going to do it at all, we haven't filmed it yet, and it'll be this week, and we'll see. Otherwise, it'll just be on the road.
Yeah, for sure.
But there are one or two. I've got like a shot list of ideas that I wanted to film, and they're all, we've gone through 60% of them, but there are some that we haven't quite got to do, and they're more experimental. They're always experimental videos anyway, so we'll see. Yeah, I'll try. Yeah, can't promise anything. So, any other questions?
No.
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 Not asking you.
I'm telling you that I'm reading. So, Petrie, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Glad to see you both.
Thank you, Petrie. I'm not so keen on that coffee today. Maybe it's because it's late.
It's late.
Yeah, it's too late for coffee. So morning coffees are good. Evening coffees, I've never been a big fan. I'm not enjoying that as much. I'm finding that a little bit bitter, but I generally find that the case with any coffee in the afternoon. I said to Michelle, should we have a coffee? And she said, well, it'd be nice to do another test on the cowboy coffee, but I wouldn't normally drink coffee at this time of night. I just wouldn't. So anyway, love to you all.
Ben says, have you planned your cycling route, or are you just going to follow Google Maps?
No, we're not be using Google at all, Ben.
Google don't know anything.
Google's hopeless. We will be using Komoot again. We'll be using our Komoot app, which I think is a really good app. And we're also using sort of open street maps and ordnance survey maps. So we've got a few ideas.
Yeah, you've been looking at that.
Who's that saying?
What?
Was there a question just above that? No.
Nope. Nope.
This one here now?
That's the one I just read.
Ah, okay. All right. So it's not the longest. Well, it's nearly an hour. Yeah, it's not the longest, but I'm gonna end this while I'm ahead. Love to all. Thank you for joining us, Ben. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Petri.
Thank you.
Who else is in? Anyone else? Byron. I don't know if Byron's still in.
Bruce Wayne.
BW's gone, I think. So,
Okay.
right, love to all, and we will we'll definitely do one more live stream before we set off. I hope.
Yes.
Yes. If not, we'll be doing a live stream very
road.
early on the road. Take care. Love to all. See you in the next video. Take care.
Bye.